Sweet. And we're live.
And we are live.
Blake is rocking the old school P7 shirt.
Got it going.
Which might be coming back soon.
Everyone probably missed what we just said, so you have to go back and watch this for the next 24 hours and see what we just said. We just gave a spoiler on the next merch drop, so you're gonna have to go back and check out the beginning of this video if you're just hopping in. Just missed it. You gotta be quick. You gotta be right there.
You gotta be right on.
You gotta be waiting for that live to start.
Awesome stuff happens right at 8.
Right at 8:01. We were a little late too.
It was like 8 and like 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
But
we'll go with that. I like it.
It is Monday Night Live here with Seth and Blake.
It's a fake coffee cup. It's full of water.
It's not a fake coffee cup. It is definitely a real.
It's a real coffee cup. It's not.
It's definitely full of water though. Hey everyone.
Welcome.
Zach Thayer 09. Z Thayer 09. What's up, Zach?
What's up, Zach? I like it.
Hope everyone's having a great Monday. We're in Wisconsin and it finally stopped snowing.
It was amazing.
And it's been like in the 60s. And
which is great.
Awesome. Everything is better than
it used to be.
Snow. Before we get started, I would just like to say congratulations, Blake.
Thank you.
On graduating.
Thank you.
College.
Great.
That was pretty exciting.
Pretty awesome.
What do you plan to do the next 5 years of your life?
Next 5 years, I plan on getting married
question ever.
And traveling the world.
Just traveling the world.
Just traveling the world.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's very exciting. Congratulations on graduating college.
So
it's a big, you made it.
I made it.
To all of you who are in high school, graduating this year, we're going to be having a call later this month with myself and one of the just myself. One of the big things with graduating high school, moving into college, is taking the mission-minded idea of Project 7 and moving into college. Caleb Saucer and I, the director of CMI, we're going to be teaming up and talking about the transition between P7 to CMI. So make sure later this month, keep an eye on our social pages, and we're going to be going live together. So
awesome. Well, I think we have our people in. We are going to get started here.
Sweet. So
welcome, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the P7 live stream tonight on a beautiful Monday night. I'm just going to start us off. The purpose of this phone call, we used to be on a phone call. The purpose of this live stream is to inform, to inspire, and to ignite you, the P7 fam. We hope you leave every one of these calls feeling better equipped to go on and take on the world. So tonight we got an awesome live stream set up for you guys. We're super stoked to have Seth here with us tonight. He's going to be talking to us. We are, before we start, I would like to let you know that at the end of this live stream we are going to take some live questions. So if you want, we would like for you to hold your questions till the end when we open up the question time, and we will answer those right then. Yes, go ahead. No. So keep those for the end of the live stream. Thank you. So that's a little jumpy. We'd also like to see your questions. If you have any other ones, you could send them to us via Twitter or DM us on Instagram. If any of you guys use Twitter.
Matt said, "Where are y'all at? A cave? Is it dark?
Is it too dark? Can you not see us? I thought it was like kind of cool."
It's like a basement. I'm in my office, Matt. Flip on that light over there. See if it's like too bright.
Let's see.
It's supposed to be like. It's like.
It's just harsh. I don't like it.
No, we're not doing harsh.
Overexposed.
Nope.
All right. Anyways.
P7 live from down below.
We like it.
I'm going with it.
So yeah, if you guys have any questions, we will take those right at the end of this, and we're going to answer them live here. Also, if you missed the very, very beginning of this phone call, me and Seth spoiled a little something about our next merch drop. So you're going to want to go check out the beginning of this video for the next 24 hours after it's done. It's going to be pretty cool, but some exciting things coming up with the next line of merch. So that was it for the announcements. I was trying to remember what I did already. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it right over to Seth here. He's going to be talking to us tonight about how we can stay connected over the summer without school here. So, Seth, take it away. Thank you so much for being here.
Perfect. Yeah. So, thanks for being here in my office.
In your office.
With Project 7, one of the things that typically happens is we have a lot of momentum with Project 7 throughout the year, but as soon as the last month, May, kind of hits, maybe some of your clubs do an end of the year bash. If you don't do that, I highly recommend to do a P7 end of the year party. But after May, sometimes the month of June, July, August, we kind of like forget about P7 and try to like rally the troops back up again in September. And I want to encourage you this summer, don't fall off the train. I want to encourage you to stay connected as a P7 club. Now, you may not be able to get together every Wednesday morning at 7 in the morning to talk about Jesus, and a lot of people may want to sleep in, and so that might not necessarily work for you. But what I want to encourage you to do is stay connected this summer by serving. I don't want this to be a summer where you take the summer off on your walk with God. You take the summer off on being connected with Jesus and connected with others. And so an opportunity that you have this summer is to serve. One of the 4 legs of Project 7, if we want to call it that, is to serve others. Now, it's unlock your faith, unleash truth, elevate Christ, and serve others. And those first 3 ones, I think a lot of clubs do really well throughout the school year. I think an area that we collectively can grow is serving others. And so I want to talk to you about serving others tonight and how we can do that throughout the summer. 1 Corinthians 12 compares the body of Christ to the human body. So my hand is awesome. It can pick up this coffee cup. But my foot doesn't really do a good job of doing that. I don't typically pick things up.
That'd be gross.
Like that with my foot. But if I were to try to just lift this coffee cup up with my mouth and try to drink it, it might be a little weird.
Awkward.
I'd probably spill it, and so my mouth benefits from my hand picking this up. And so the body of Christ, in a weird way, it's kind of an odd comparison there, but the body of Christ works like that, and because our body functions in different ways to serve the other part of the body, we are made up of different skills. I do music in my church. Blake does music at our church, and we serve in that capacity, but we also serve in a lot of other capacities that we can serve in the church, whether that's cleaning or photography or anything that you can do to serve is going to be beneficial to your church congregation, but also to your community. And so when we take the opportunity this summer to serve in your community, to serve in your home, to serve in your church, you are giving God the opportunity to perform the miraculous, either through you or letting you see the miraculous. In John 2, Jesus was at a wedding, and there was a couple that was running out of wine, and he tells the servants to fill several jars to the brim, okay? And when they served the water to the guests, it was wine. Okay, now the guests didn't really know what was going on, but the servants knew that Jesus had just performed a miracle. And the same is true for us when we are actively involved in serving. Sometimes we're going to get behind the scenes of what's happening at church and say, you know what, I know that person. I know what God did in their life. Because I was here to serve that person, I knew the full story. And so I'm seeing the miraculous. And so when we are serving our community, when we're serving our family, when we're serving our church, we can experience the miracles of God. Okay? In 1 Peter 4:10, it says, each of you should use whatever gift you have received. Why? To serve others, as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms, so that in all things God may be praised. So serving really is a form of worship. And so you ask, how can we stay connected as a P7 club throughout the summer? You worship together. Now, does that mean you have to come to church on a Sunday morning all together as a P7 club to worship together? No. Would that be awesome? I think it'd be sweet.
That'd be super cool.
It'd be totally awesome. We're going to talk about some different ways to get involved later. But But one way that you can serve, one way that you can stay connected is worship together through serving, okay? It's basically just expressing to God, God, I see the work that you've done in my life. I see the grace that you've given me, and I just want to give that back to you by serving your people and serving them well. And so ultimately, when we serve, it helps us to be more like Jesus. We're never more like Jesus than when we're serving, okay? When we take the focus off of ourselves and we put it on others through serving, we begin to see Jesus as he sees him. One of the prayers that I would pray consistently when I was in college and when I was in high school, I remember it more vividly when I was in college because I would walk through my college campus and I would say, God, help me to see people like you see people, because we see people sometimes like as a stereotype. We don't know their story, and so we see them as this or that. But when we say, God, I want to serve people, I want to see them like you see them. Jesus said in Matthew 25:40, the king will reply, truly I tell you, whatsoever you did for one of the least of these brothers or sisters of mine, you did for me. So when we are serving people that cannot do anything for us, when we're serving them, Jesus said he's going to remember that, because when we do it for the least of these, we are ultimately doing that for Jesus. Okay. Another thing that serving does is it helps us to be around other Christians. Okay. Maybe you have a job and you work at McDonald's during the summer, or you work at another place. Maybe you work at an all-apostolic job.
That'd be cool.
I do. I work at my church. Okay, so I don't typically deal with this, but I know from past experiences and jobs that I've had, it is not always a healthy work environment in terms of am I being having great conversations about God. It's not like that. Sometimes when you're walking through your school, you're going to hear things that you wish you never heard. Sometimes when you're walking through your job, trying to mind your own business, just trying to
flip some burgers.
Just trying to flip some burgers. And then all of a sudden you hear stuff and you're like, oh, I did not need to hear that. When you make a conscious effort this summer to serve with other people, you are surrounding yourselves with other God-fearing people to build your own walk with God up. Okay, the more time that you spend with other believers, the more you're going to be encouraged. And one incredible way to do that, obviously, we want to come to church. We want to be, not forsaking the assembly of yourselves together. It says in Hebrews, but we want to spend additional times outside of that, just serving with other people, because when we work side by side with other people, a bond is going to form. I remember. A couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, Blake, you'll remember this. We went out and our youth group went and served in a garden. And were you there that day?
I don't think I made it.
You wasn't there that day. Probably taking some pictures or something. That was the day that I ate a worm for Sheep for Christ. Everyone got literally in the dirt, in the mud, and we were pulling out weeds for multiple hours, and it was not fun. It was awful. But we were doing this to serve in our community. And what this organization did was they grew plants to give away to the homeless or the needy. And so it was really cool. We wanted to help this organization. But while we were there to serve this organization, what actually happened was we were able to do that, and that was really cool. But bonds formed that day with our youth group that are still around to this day. And so it's really, really cool when that happens. So there's that happens when we serve, but also our faith increases like crazy when we get involved with serving, okay? As we move out of our comfort zones, God increases our faith by revealing the potential. Because here's what happens. So I serve you, you're encouraged by that, and your faith is strengthened. I see his faith strengthened, I see him getting excited, and it strengthens me. And so by serving him, I'm in a roundabout way also helping myself, because my faith is strengthened and his faith is strengthened. Okay, serving God, serving others is not just about our faith. It's not just about us receiving something, but it's really obeying God. When we look at the Bible, when we look at what the Bible really says. God commanded us. God is the greatest example of a servant. And so when we're encouraged to serve others, and we're encouraged to serve people who can't do anything for us, that is like Jesus. It's just good for us, and it's biblical. Okay, studies have shown that when we volunteer at a place that we're not going to get paid for it, maybe initially it could be like, oh, I'm used to making $7.50 an hour, and now I'm going to work for nothing. But studies have shown you leave that, and when you see someone that's really encouraged by that, you actually feel really great. Then you actually feel better than, man, I made $7.50 an hour for that. And I think a lot of times we make excuses. Some of the excuses that we make for not serving, well, I don't have time. I don't have time to serve. What's another excuse that people make?
I'm too busy.
Too busy. I'm too busy.
Got too much stuff going on.
Too busy to serve. Okay. Or what about this one? I just don't know how. I don't think I have the skills to really do that. But it's not about how equipped you are. I'm sure you've heard this before, but God doesn't call the equipped. He
equips the called.
Equips the called. Okay. I think about Moses as a leader. The dude had a stuttering problem, and he knew it. And he probably did not feel very equipped to bring the whole nation of Israel out of bondage, really. And so, but who did God use to do that? Moses. The same guy that had a stuttering problem. He's like, I don't really feel equipped, but he called him. Okay, I think of David, the youngest son of, he had a bunch of older brothers, and he was probably the least capable person in his mind, maybe, to kill a giant. But he's like, you know what? I already killed a bear. I already killed a lion. But the youngest one, the least likely person. You think of Paul. Paul was probably the least. We've said this in a P7 video before, but the least likely candidate to be a preacher. This dude Saul, before Paul, he was Saul, and he was killing Christians. He was putting them in prison, but God called that person. And so, really, if you are going to serve in your community, you don't have to have the skills that you think that you need. If you're willing to say, God, I want to be a servant in my community, in my home, in my church, I ask that you give me the tools, give me the resources to do this. So, here's some practical. I wanted to set this up a little bit. I wanted to give some practical tips on how to serve. Okay, you ready?
Right.
Here's some practical tips. Okay.
Grab your notes.
Here we go. So if you want to serve others, if you want to be a servant, Blake's got his pen out. If you want to be a servant and you want to answer the call of God on your life, because if you're wondering what God's will is, here's God's will. In case maybe that's a big prayer sometimes. God, what is your will for my life? Serve.
Yeah.
There it is. I'll just tell you. I'm confident in that. God's will for your life is for you to serve. And so if you want to get involved with serving others, get involved at home first. Yeah, that's right. In your house. The place where you sleep at night. If you're wanting to volunteer in a homeless shelter and raise a bunch of money for Sheaves for Christ, but you're not willing to do the dishes, you have completely missed the point. Completely missed the point, okay? If you want to serve others, get involved and serve your family. Make your bed in the morning. Do the dishes. I'm preaching tonight on a Monday. All right? But you can honor God, and you do honor God by serving your family. If you're too big to serve your family, but you're there at church at 8 in the morning, the attention's on yourself. It's not on trying to serve God. It's a little warm in here right now. We'll move on in a second, but I mean, I'm just trying to inspire you and encourage you that serving others starts in the home. You got to start in the home. Okay, so then let's take it outside of the home a little bit. If you are not involved in doing anything in your church congregation, I encourage you to do something in your church congregations. Okay, serving is not a platform ministry. In case anyone needed clarification, it can be.
Yep.
It totally can be. If you're involved in playing the piano for church, you are serving your church. But that platform ministry is not the only opportunity to serve. Let me tell you one of the most crucial ministries that we have at our church. Make sure I'm good on time here. We're good. One of the most crucial ministries that we have at church is our cleaning ministry. Because if guests or even the church family comes and the place is a mess, they're not going to want to come back. And so that is a crucial ministry that we have. So ask your pastor, ask your youth pastor, do something behind the scenes where no one is watching. Get behind the vision of your church. And if you are just involved in a platform ministry, I'll take that a step further. Do something in addition to that, because if your ministry is just a platform, you need to take it a little bit deeper to do something that no one's going to see. All right? We cool?
I like it.
All right. The third thing I'll tell you, get involved in your community. Do something in your city. I live in Appleton, Wisconsin, and there's tons of opportunities right here in Appleton to serve our community. People that I'm going to go and help, and I'm not going to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
And chances are, I might make a great connection, and someone may come to church, but that's really not what it's about. It's not about serving so that I'm going to get something out of it. It's serving just to serve, because that's what Jesus told us to do. In James 2:15, Jesus' brother posed the question, if a brother or sister is poorly clothed and lacking in daily food, and one of you says, "Go in peace, be warmed and filled," without giving them the things needed for the body, what good is that? So if Blake walks into my office tonight just shivered and cold, just like, like probably was like 3 weeks ago, and he didn't have a jacket on, and he's just wearing a t-shirt, and he's like, "Man, I'm really, really cold. Just wish someone would do something about it." And I said, "You know what, Blake? Be warm in Jesus' name."
Thanks a lot, man.
It's not gonna, okay, great. Maybe I encouraged him for that second, but he's still cold. So sometimes we just have to do things to serve our community because that's the need of our community. So get involved in a rescue mission or a homeless shelter, or do something that they just need a warm body to do something for them. Get outside of yourself. Get outside of the box and do something for your community. James also gave further instruction. He said, "Pure and genuine religion means caring for orphans and widows in their distress." And then the Apostle Paul told his disciple Timothy, "Treat older women as you would your mother, and treat younger women with all purity as you would for your own sisters. Take care of any widow who has no one else to care for her." So if you have an older woman in your church, or you have someone in your church that is just alone and needs some help, especially calling out to you young ladies right now, get involved in a women's shelter or pregnancy crisis centers. Do something for your community that meets the needs of your community. One tip for you: just go to Google, our friend Google,
Brother Google,
and type in volunteer opportunities in, and then type your city. So for me, it would be volunteer opportunities in Appleton. For Blake, it would be volunteer opportunities in
Greenville.
In Greenville. You'll be blown away what you'll find, I promise. I've seen P7 clubs bring donuts and coffee to a fire station just to serve their the local firemen, just to say, "Hey, we're thankful for you guys." I saw a P7 club that made blankets for a local hospital, a children's hospital. I thought that was fantastic, just serving their community. If you need a website, nationalservice.gov is an area that you can search for areas of opportunity in your specific area. That makes sense?
That's cool, yeah.
I think so. So now we're going to take some questions. We'll ask some questions from you guys on maybe that you have. We got to scroll through this, though.
Hermano Google. I like it.
Hermano Google. Gills for Jesus. I just read this book called Do Hard Things, and it has been one of the most inspiring books I've ever read. Yes, you know what? I totally agree. I'm taking some of my students through that book right now. Do Hard Things is incredible. If you have additional questions, someone said, "I spent my money on Mother's Day with no expectations to receive anything back, and God blessed me with double the money because I served and gave it freely." It happens.
That's awesome.
It happens.
Oh, by the way, this is the point where the P7 Live where you can start dropping your
questions
right now.
Hey, if you don't got questions, then you don't got questions. But Kyle Thayer pointed out a good thing. He said, call your local chamber, the local chamber of commerce, and just say, hey, we've got a youth group. We've got a youth group of 10 people. Is there a way that 10 people can serve in our community? And you know what? The local chamber of commerce may say, you know what? Hey, Jean.
Jean Jacket?
No, it's like the lady
Jean that works there?
Yeah, like,
okay.
hey, Jean, so-and-so called, and they've got 10 students, and they'll be talking in the office like, oh, yeah, we can totally use that. So, do you guys have merchandise to sell at youth camps? Yes. Check out p7clubs.com.
I see a question here. What do you guys suggest if you're in a small town and there's not really any volunteer work? You know, I guarantee if you look hard enough, you could find some volunteer work, or go make up some volunteer work. Go help out somebody. Go stand at a red light and just help old ladies or young ladies across the street appropriately.
So, just an observation. Does your city have trees?
Most do.
I would say most do. So come fall, what usually happens, this is usually in the northern
part of the state.
Trees, the leaves fall off the trees, and so that requires raking. So that just finding opportunities like that in the summer, sometimes weeding needs to be done, whether that's at a local business or whether that's at your church. If you don't have, if you're in a small town and you're like killing it at home, and you're killing it at church, I guarantee you won't have a lot of problems finding ways to kill it in the community. So if you feel like, I don't really know where, start in the home, start then in the church, and then I guarantee you'll find.
I see another one here. What if your friends at P7 are antisocial and some of them don't like to talk to people a lot?
You know what? That's a great question. And if you go back on our P7 Live calls, find a video of his dad, my pastor, Brother Aaron Soto, talking about how to. What was the title of his last one?
I don't remember. It
was the last one that he led.
It was awesome.
And it's talking about how to be an introvert, because I believe everyone can be. I'm sorry, yeah, how to be an extrovert. Those of you that are antisocial or an introverted, you can be extroverts by very small things like going first, introducing yourself, smiling even though you don't feel like smiling.
Yeah.
You can do things, and sometimes it just takes work.
Yep.
Most times, I don't like going to the gym, but I have to go to the gym, just to like stay sane, and it just, but sometimes I don't really like serving others too. If I'm being completely honest, sometimes it takes a lot of work, and so I would just be, if you're struggling with your group that doesn't want to do it, be the example and say, you know what, I don't really feel like doing this either, but I want to answer the call of God in my life, and I want to serve others. So let's do this together. Just try to rally the troops.
And I definitely think there's an opportunity there to create relationships with those people. When you create relationships with someone and you take time to invest in them and to hang out with them, those walls will start to come down, and you'll build a bridge between the both of you where you can connect on some level, and that antisocial person may start to open up. It may just be that they don't really know anybody or they don't know you that well, and so they are a little uncomfortable about opening up to somebody that they don't know. So build relationships. Take time out of your week. Make a point to hang out with that person and just grab some coffee or something, and I think that would really help in that situation.
So I used to work in a nursing home, and I know the benefit of people coming in to just like talk to some of the residents. Some people are there for maybe the rest of their life, and they've got another 10, 15 years that they're probably going to spend in a nursing home. It can be very, very traumatic for that elderly. Just sitting there. Oh, I think it paused. Are we still live? I think we're still live.
Let's see. Yep. We're still going.
Okay, we're still live. Sorry. But spend some time in a nursing home just talking with people. There's a lot of benefit in that. So if you don't know what to do, call the administrator of that nursing home to say, hey, we just want to come and just hang out, play some cards, do something. So that's a great idea. I think Matt had that idea.
I see one here that's pretty cool. This question is, some of the students want to do personal Bible studies in the summer. Would it be best to do personal Bible studies or keep a group?
That's a great question, and I'll answer this twofold. First of all, summer is a great time to have personal Bible studies. You can get together with, typically during the school year, everyone has the same schedule. School starts at 7:30, ends at 3:30, and we're all on the same schedule. But in the summer, some people have jobs, and so it gets a little bit, we all kind of disperse a little bit more. And so that might be an opportunity for you to get together with that one person or that two people maybe to have that more close Bible study. However, if you're finding, 5 or 6 of your members or 10 of your members in your P7 club are wanting to get together weekly, take that opportunity and just rock it. Get together at Starbucks or another coffee shop or Dunkin' Donuts or Perkins or whatever. Perkins.
For the percolator.
For some pie.
Well, I think we got time for maybe one more question. I saw a good one here. And this one said, what if, having a pizza party at the end of the year a good idea? And if so, what if people are only coming for the pizza?
You know what? I think it's okay for them to come just for the pizza.
I do too.
It's the one opportunity that you can get them in the doors.
Yeah.
It's why we sometimes have giveaways at churches. Win a free bike or win whatever. I'm not entirely opposed to that because sometimes it just gets people in the door.
Right.
And so if you can get people in the door and fellowshipping with other Christians, with other believers, they may understand, okay, these people aren't so weird after all.
Yeah, exactly.
And they maybe that gives you an opportunity for them to see your passion for Jesus. So if you're wondering, should I have an end of the year party? The answer is
yes.
Yes.
Big yes.
Big yes. Lots of pizza emojis from Kyle. So highly recommend end of the year parties with lots of food.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Seth, for those words. I hope you guys had your notes, your notepads ready. We're typing some things down. Those are some good thoughts, and thank you for being here. Typing some steeds. Thank you guys so much. We went a little bit over our time, but we appreciate you guys. This live stream will be available for the next 24 hours after we end this. So we encourage you guys to go back and watch it. If you missed anything or if you tuned in a little late, go back and listen to what Seth had to say. It was awesome.
We'll be posting it later, too.
We will be posting it later. Awesome.
Later this week.
Perfect. And so thank you guys for being here tonight. We will see you next month, the second Monday of the month, 8 p.m. Central Time. Seth, if you could just close us out with prayer.
Totally. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for this day, for this opportunity that we have to serve you, to serve in your kingdom. I just ask, Lord, that you would help us to understand the value of serving others, the value of serving in our home, serving in our church, and serving in our community. I pray that you would help us to make us like you in every way that we possibly can, and help us to give you glory in every way that we possibly can. We love you, Lord Jesus.
Jesus'
Amen.
name.
Jesus'
Amen.
name.